Hello, this is Lapse of Apathy. I'm coming to you today to tell you why the left-right paradigm is absolutely bollocks, and why it's made in the first place, and what lies are put to the public, to the general public, through multimedia that is massively controlled by a few different companies that are corporately owned and tied 100% in with those in the United States government. If you do want to look into that, I have a link below, um, all about how 5 corporations run the mass media in the United States. It's on Business Insider. You can check it out on the underbar, or whatever you call it. But anyway, you hear a lot now these days that the left-right paradigm is bullshit, and that both the left and the right work for the same people. There's a lot of people that used to be either progressive or conservative who have changed their views into being more aligned with the Libertarian Party, like I have. I've changed over from progressive, extreme left wing over to the Libertarian movement. And I know that there's other people that I have gotten that were conservative that moved over to the Libertarian movement as well. Partially because what I said to them, and partially because their own research. Um, but I would like to just give a general overview right now about what the left is about and what the right is about. The left, as I will first state, because I was left-wing, and I was always left-wing before I moved into the Libertarian Party, um, the left wing has an idea that the United States is going through a crisis. The crisis is that of an economic crisis and that of a social crisis. A social crisis that is comprised of bigotry and hatred towards people who just happen to be gay or just happen to be black or Latino or whatever. And also, there happens to be a social crisis of people who are against poor people. This last thing that I have just brought up, the hatred of poor people, is continuously being being repeated as a talking point on the left. People hate the poor. People hate the poor. People hate the poor. And then they bring in certain things that the left proposes to help the poor out. There's several different things of which I can name of: food stamps and social security insurance and other disability insurance, minimum wage laws. There's a slew of different proposals, different economic structures put in there, proposed by the left, pushed by the left as a leftist agenda to get people who are poor and to get people who are not able to find a job able to actually be self-sufficient, at least with the help of governmental assistance. And of course the left loves this idea, the left loves to push this, and the left loves to pull on the heartstrings of the common people who just happen to have some fucking sympathy for people who just aren't able to get a job. Um, of course, this is argued to be a bad thing by the right. Now, living in a certain paradigm where where you can't get that many jobs anyway, and understanding that it's extremely hard to get a job these days, whether you have experience or not. It's very easy to believe that the way that we solve this issue is by looking at what is going on. There are poor people that aren't able to get a job, so we need to help them out. It's an emotional response that is hijacked by the left. The left uses this to empower the government to give more money from taxes, through taxes, from the taxation of our fellow citizens, from those in the middle class all the way up to the rich, to get their taxes, their income taxes, and taxes from businesses and everything else like that, gather it all up, take it in, and then give welfare, give some sort of money so people on the bottom can live. But when you look into it, you'll understand that that is actually a part of the problem, and it is a part of the reason why we are in such dire economic straits. But of course, on the left, you're very emotionally compromised by the things that the left proposes, and therefore you want to give more taxes because you feel like it's the right thing to do, and you feel like people are not going to do it themselves, that people don't have a general sense of empathy towards one another. And that's the one thing that the left does. It takes you at your emotional roots and says that nobody else has any other empathy besides you, besides the people on the left. So therefore, this is a major breakdown of what the left does to the psychological underpinnings of people that are very emotional and very resonant with the people who are poor, who are not able to get a job. They take taxes and they put it towards the people who are not able to get a job because businesses are not able to thrive within this economy that we have set up. But before I actually explain to you why businesses are not able to thrive in this economy, therefore making a more larger economy for people to participate in, I would also like to look at the right. The right sees what the left is doing, sees that this is an emotionally, it's an emotionally uh, an emotionally responsive thing to do, taxation. So a lot of people who are emotional, who actually care about other people, who are extremely emotional and they don't really think logically, think it through, they have the right where they're not giving them a rational opinion. They're not giving them a rational idea of why taxes are bad, but instead they invoke anger. They invoke a emotional response of anger, saying that's your money. That's your money. Why are you giving your money to those people who are subhuman? Instead of doing what the left does and humanizing everyone, the right dehumanizes the poor and humanizes the rich as people who actually want to get out and do stuff. The right does this for a reason. They do this because they know it has the logical evidence that there is logic behind this way of thinking, but they don't give you the full picture and they're telling half truths. They say we need to stop taxing as much as possible and we need to just cut the others, the dehumanized pieces of garbage that aren't working hard enough, so therefore they can't get a job, So we should just put them by the wayside and only care about the job creators. Because that's what the right cares about. The right cares about growing the economy. But here's the thing. The right only cares about growing the economy to the extent of those who are already at the top, those who already have the monopolization of the economy. These people who have a monopolization of the economy are the corporatist fucks. These people own 99% of our wealth. Quite possibly there is only 1%, which is us. We don't have any wealth. And that's exactly right. It's more like 0.00001% have all the wealth. They create all the jobs, and everyone else falls by the wayside. There's poor people, of course, and then there are middle class people and lower middle class people and upper middle class people that watch Fox News, and they see this, and they see I'm not able to get as much as I can for my family because of taxation. I work hard for my money, so why do I have to give my money to the people that Fox News has dehumanized? So then you have this tug and pull. This tug and pull with the left being empathetic and saying we have to help everyone out by submitting some of our cash to the government to give to the poor people. The right, on the other hand, will say, no, I want my money. I want my money. Leave the other pieces of garbage out of the way, and they can all suffer or get a job. This is the antithesis of what the economic structure is and a part of what the social structure is with the left and the right. The left humanizes everyone. The right dehumanizes the minority and humanizes the majority. Next one. There are two different mindsets. There are two different mindsets when it comes to the left and the right and their idea of what the social structure is. The left, as I said before, humanizes everyone. The left picks out the major issues that people are concerned about, i.e. gay rights, i.e. transgender rights, black rights, Latino rights, and everything else like that that's going on at that moment. So you have all of these rights that have to be taken care of, obviously. But then you have the right. And the right is very religious. There are a lot of religious people in the right. And what the right does is that it takes the religiosity of the majority of people who are on the right, meaning all of these Christians, and basically taking their Bible and saying, well, Jesus would have never liked this, right? And they play themselves off as good, hard-working Christians. So they can reference the Bible, so they can reference these religious segments and everything else like that and twist it to their own desires so they can get their own agenda out there for the conservative movement. The conservative movement is all about hate. It's all about anger. It's all about not liking people and not wanting to help the poor people, not wanting to help the gay people, not wanting to help the transgender people, not wanting to help anyone who is not on good terms with the Bible. Because the majority of people who are Christians happen to be Republican as well, or the majority of Republicans have to be Christians as well. Not all the time, but the majority of them. Now, this is the facade. The facade is the facade is that there is no economic crisis and there is no social crisis. The only social crisis as libertarians see, or as at least I see, I won't speak for all libertarians, but I will speak from my own understanding of this bullshit that has been pushed by the left and the right. The left and the right both have an agenda to divide people in half. Get them fighting amongst each other. Get them not understanding the underlying roots and causes of the issues. First one. This is the economy. The economy is owned by a massive banking system, a banking cartel, at least in the United States. The United States has a privatized banking system called the Federal Reserve that works hand in hand with the United States government. It is not a private institution. It is owned by the U.S. government. The U.S. government and the Fed, which is a private public organization, they supply the money, they print the money, they print the money as it goes, they restrict the currency as it goes. This plays into the economy overall. The left want taxes. What do taxes do? Taxes make it so that smaller businesses, that businesses that are not incorporated, are not able to get on to the playing field as easily as the businesses who do incorporate. The businesses that incorporate the limited liability partnerships, the corporations. These are legal entities. As you may have heard in a business class before, the business of business is making money. It's not to provide a service, it's making money. That's why you have all these bullshit jobs out there that have to do with marketing and sales and everything else like that. We do not see any new products anymore produced here in the United States. It's the same thing over and over again for the most point. What you have is that you have an ever-decreasing economy that is owned by 5 or 6 different corporations that are all incorporated and all legal entities and all are beholden to the United States government. These companies want to make money. They have to make money. They're legally binded to make money. It doesn't matter if they fail or whatnot because the Fed, the private public banking institution, will give them money if they do fail. Anyone who owns the company, a CEO of a company, works directly with the federal government to ensure that they make the most yield on their product. Any money that is any products that are pushed forth to be sold in these corporations do not care about any federal restrictions. They are a legal entity. They can work within any bounds of reason. The corporations, the CEOs of these corporations have legal ties to those in the government. The government and corporations are all in one. The United States is essentially a corporation, just wants to make more and more money, and it doesn't matter how it does this. That's why you see all these crazy things happening and everything with things getting recalled, because if this was not true that corporations were not legally bound, then corporations would fail if we found out that they were selling something that could go on fire or something like that. We wouldn't give them our service. But since they're incorporated, the CEOs can leave as be take all the money out that they want to possibly and put that position over to somebody else. These are corporations. They publicly put their stocks out there on the stock market. What is the stock market? Well, the stock market is a giant trading system. This trading system has stocks. Stocks are partial ownership to corporations. People who own stocks have a partial ownership to the corporation of which stock they bought. But these stocks can go up and down and up and down depending upon the financial structure of that individual corporation. The CEOs can take the cash out whenever they want to, and they can never fail because they're legal entities. These legal entities can own subsidiaries, and these subsidiaries can own even more subsidiaries. But all of these corporations are owned by one legal entity of the corporation. There can be one corporation, and that one corporation can own a bunch of other corporations. If you were not incorporated, you would not be able to do this. You would not be able to do that so easily, where you can just merger with anyone, because you would have more risk. You would not be able to do that. In a hierarchy with tens of thousands of people in a corporation, you can barely even manage these people. There are many different managers for many different departments, and there are other managers that manage the managers. And once you get all the way up to the top, you see the CEO, he's doing nothing. He's on Facebook because he can leave at any time. He is the one that works with the federal government to ensure that smaller businesses are not able to compete. There are corporations that work with each other to get the highest tax yield to the United States government through sales tax. That's it. You get little businesses. Sometimes little businesses are able to succeed because they incorporate. The smaller businesses that do not incorporate, that are sole proprietorships, that do have risk, later on die out, because that's real capitalism. But at the same time, sometimes these smaller corporations these smaller companies are not even able to get onto the playing field because they have so many taxes proposed by the left, making it so that it's nearly impossible to actually enter the job market. Therefore, there are more poor people because these poor people aren't able to work for smaller corporations, and they have to apply to these big-ass corporations that already have so many people that are not able to hire on so many people or do not want to. Because this would kill the facade. Everyone would have a job. There wouldn't be a need for more left and right propaganda, right and left. It's all a fucking game. Corporations do not fucking care about you, neither does our government, because they're the same thing. Federal Reserve is easily and does manipulate our currency because it prints out of our currency. Each time the Federal Reserve prints more money, the dollar devalues. That means that this giant fantastical debt that we have, that we've been putting off for on and on and on forever, it doesn't matter anyway how much money we have. We owe maybe $21 trillion, but it doesn't matter. We would never be able to, and we are never going to be able to pay that back. Our money is worth nothing. The dollar decreases in value, makes it so that the dollar is not able to actually fucking buy anything within the next 10 years or so because of deflation, because of printing of currency. That is why the government does not want you to make your own currency, because they know that is the epitome, the keystone for keeping all of this fucking facade together. There is no economic crisis. It's all manufacturing. Everything, all of this economy, this economic crisis set up by the left and the right is manufactured. It's not real, it's fake. The only reason why it is real is because people believe it's fucking real, which it is not. So there you go. That is the economy. That is why the economy is fucking bullocks. Also, you got the left proposing different ideas for minimum wage laws and everything else like that. Guess what that does? It just makes it so that people who are poor, that people who are not able to get a job, aren't going to be able to enter the job market even more for the businesses who are still able to survive without being incorporated. Minimum wage. Minimum wage also makes it so that the people who already earn minimum wage earn more money, which is inflated because more people have more money, devaluing our currency even more, making it so that it's even more expensive to buy something. Because even the people who are able to pay their employers minimum wage at maybe $12, $15 an hour, now they have to raise their prices. Not because they're fucking evil, but because these people who own these companies actually fucking have to make money. Guess what? That devalues the currency even more. Maybe Walmart or something will lower its prices. So for the time being, $10 or $12 is a lot, but that's only a facade. This kills the smaller businesses. This makes for even more unemployment. This makes for a even more centralized economy planned by the United States government, and the economy dies that way. Over and over again, it dies multiple deaths. And it's getting to the point where the United States federal government will monopolize everything in our economy. That is why you have very little choices between sodas like Sprite or Pepsi, Pepsi products or Coke products or whatnot. There are only two choices, and if you look at the back of any one of these fucking soda bottles, you'll see the exact same fucking ingredients. They taste maybe a little bit differently. You're not really able to understand why they taste differently, because the FDA is working with these fucking stupid ass food corporations, and they are not obligated to put all of their ingredients on there. Last but not least, the social movement. Liberals are very liberal. They care about issues. They care about gay people. They care about lesbians. They care about transgender people, and so do I. But the point is that leftists believe that the government has to make it so that gay people are allowed to get married, that people aren't allowed to say certain words and everything else like that. That is the trick. The right argues against the government legalizing stuff, and the left argues for the government legalizing gay marriage and everything else like that. This just gets into our minds that marriage is a legal issue. Or the right as would get you knowing that marriage is a religious issue. What I would like to propose, and this is absolutely true, I am absolutely certain about this, is that marriage, either straight marriage, gay marriage, polygamy, or whatnot, is not a legal issue. Has nothing to deal with taxes. Taxes should not get into marriage. There shouldn't be taxes. It would make for a lot freer of a market. Taxes should not enter the issue of fucking marriage. This destroys fucking marriage. Gay people should be able to get married to whomever they fucking want to. Straight people, the same thing. Lesbians, same thing. Transgender people, same thing. Even fucking Mormons. I do not care. The issue is that it's not a legal issue. That's it. Politics should not have anything to deal with social issues. Religion, if you're religious, if you believe in a certain way, then go out, get married to the only people that your religion says so. But otherwise than that, it is up to you. It is your individual right to practice your own religion, to practice your own sexuality and whatnot without intervention of me, Christian people, Jewish people, Muslim people, or whatever. It is completely your right, and making it a legal issue of marriage, of relationships, destroys it. This has been Lapse of Apathy. I hope that I have removed the wool from your eyes. Thank you very much, and I look forward to speaking again sometime.